Let's be real, most of us grew up learning how to perform, not how to listen, and I'm not just talking about hearing words, I'm talking about listening to what matters. To people, to purpose, to yourself. Somewhere along the way we got lost in the noise. We learned how to chase success, but not how to sit in stillness. We were taught how to win arguments, but not how to hear pain. We were praised for how well we could talk, but not for how deeply we could understand. And the truth is, that noise, it didn't just distract us, it numbed us. Because when everything around you is loud, when every moment is filled with notifications, expectations, judgment, comparison, it becomes harder and harder to hear the most important voice of all. Yours. You start ignoring that whisper in your gut that says, slow down. You silence the ache in your chest that says, I need help. You skip over the moments of discomfort that are trying to teach you something real, and for a lot of young men, this shows up in ways that don't always look like pain on the outside. It shows up in chasing validation through women instead of connection. It shows up in talking more but saying less. It shows up in turning the volume up on everything: music, scrolling, sarcasm, gym, grind, but turning the volume down on what we're actually feeling. We become so conditioned to the noise that silence feels dangerous. You sit in a quiet room and suddenly there's a lump in your throat. You get off the phone and realize you don't know how to be without input. You're with someone you care about, but you're terrified to open up because the noise taught you emotions aren't masculine. They're messy. But brother, let me tell you something right now. The most dangerous thing a man can do is to stop listening. To others, to truth, to God, to the part of himself that's crying for something more. And I get it. Because I've been there. I've smiled when I was breaking. I've said I'm good when I wasn't. I've drowned in the pressure to be everything for everyone while being nothing for myself. But here's what I had to learn the hard way. When you lose the ability to listen, you lose the ability to grow. You lose your compass, you drift through life reacting, pretending, posturing, and deep down you know it's not working. And maybe that's you right now. Maybe you've got the job, the body, the looks, the lines, the followers, but still feel alone in a crowded room. Still feel disconnected in the middle of a conversation. Still feel like you're screaming inside for someone to see you. And maybe you don't even know how to say it. But I want you to hear me clearly. You are not broken. You are not too far gone. You are not weak. You've just been living in too much noise. And that noise, it's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to turn it down. You don't need to talk louder. You don't need to hustle harder. You don't need another woman, another win, another weekend escape. You need to listen again. You need to listen to your breath, to that little boy inside who still wants to be loved, not just respected. To the woman in your life who doesn't need perfection, she needs presence. To the people around you who don't need advice, they just need your ear. And when you reclaim that, when you start really listening again, you'll be shocked by how much comes back online. Peace, clarity, confidence, connection. The world's been trying to drown it out, but it's still there. Your truth is still there. Your power is still there. Your heart is still there, and the journey back to it starts with one decision: to stop performing and start listening, because the strongest men I know aren't the ones who talk the most. They're the ones who know when to be quiet so they can finally hear what really matters. Let's clear something up right now. Listening is not the same as being silent. A lot of men think if they just stay quiet, nod their head and let her talk, they're being a good listener. But brother, silence is not the goal, presence is. There's a big difference between not speaking and actually being there. Fully, attentively, emotionally available, you can be quiet and still be somewhere else in your head. On your phone, in your ego, you might be hearing words, but you're not receiving anything. You're not with her. You're not with yourself. You're just waiting for your turn to talk. Come on, let's tell the truth. Some of us don't listen, we reload, we don't hear what someone's saying, we wait until they stop talking so we can come back with our point, our story, our defense. But presence is when you stop trying to be right and start trying to understand. Presence is when your eyes say, you matter. When your body language says, I'm here, I'm safe, I'm with you. When your spirit says, I'm not just in this moment, I'm honoring it. And let me tell you, people can feel the difference. Especially women. Fellas, listen to me. You're out here thinking you need more game. You think you need better lines, more status, a better wardrobe, or a more alpha vibe. No, you need to be present. You need to care, because when you're present with a woman, she can feel it in her nervous system. Her body relaxes, her heart opens, she feels safe, not because you fixed her problem, not because you had all the answers, but because you gave her the gift that almost nobody gives her, your full attention, not attention to get something, not attention to impress, sacred attention. And when you learn to listen like that, not just to women, but to everyone, your life changes. Your relationships deepen, your influence expands. People trust you more, not because you say more, but because you see more, you feel more. That kind of listening, that kind of presence, it's magnetic. It's healing, it's divine, but I know it's hard. Some of you were never shown what that looks like. You didn't grow up with a father who really saw you. You weren't raised in a world where your voice mattered, where you could cry, or be confused, or just be still. So now, stillness feels uncomfortable, presence feels like exposure, being real feels like weakness. But I want you to hear me on this. Presence is not weakness, it's power under control, it's strength in surrender. It's masculinity anchored in love, not ego, and you can practice it. You can train yourself to breathe, to pause, to let someone else's words land before you respond, to be fully in this moment, not the next move, not your past mistake, not your next argument. Just here, because here, this present moment, this is where life happens, this is where healing begins. This is where relationships are built, heart to heart, not just head to head. And the more you show up in this moment, the more life starts showing up for you. God speaks louder, love feels clearer, and your own voice, the real one, starts to rise above the noise. So stop thinking listening is just about being quiet. Start learning to be present, because when you bring your full self into a conversation, you're not just hearing. You're connecting, and that's what changes everything. Let's go there. Let's talk about what's really going on when a woman starts pulling away. You know the feeling. She used to light up when you walked in. Now her eyes dim a little. She used to open up. Now it feels like she's going through the motions. Maybe she's still physically there, but emotionally, it's like something shut down, and you're thinking, what did I do wrong? Is it something I said? I thought things were good. Let me tell you something most men were never taught. Women don't shut down because of what you say. They shut down because of what you miss. You see, most men communicate to solve. Women often communicate to be seen, to be felt, to be understood. So when she's telling you about her day, her fears, her feelings, and you come back with, you just gotta stop overthinking, or that's not a big deal, or you always do this, what she hears isn't just a reply. She hears, you don't get me. She hears, you're not safe here. And that's when she starts to pull away. Not to punish you, but to protect herself, because here's what no one told us growing up as men. Most women don't need you to fix it. They need you to feel it with them. Let me say that again for the ones in the back. They don't need you to fix the problem. They need to know they're not alone in it. They need to feel like you're with them in the mess, not above it, not outside of it, with them. That's why listening is everything. Not the surface level kind where you nod your head and wait for your turn. I'm talking about soul level listening. The kind of listening where you turn your phone off, where your eyes say, I'm here, where your body language says, you matter more than my next thought, where you breathe through your need to fix and just let her be real, because that's what most women crave. Not perfection, not dominance, not control, but presence. A man who can hold her emotion without judgment, without defensiveness, without making it about himself. A man who doesn't run from her truth, even if it makes him uncomfortable. A man who can say, I hear you, and I feel that. I may not fully understand it, but I'm here with you. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to have the right words. You just have to stay in the moment with her. And listen, I know that's not always easy, because to do that with her, you've got to do that with yourself. You've got to face the parts of you that were never heard, the boy in you that was told to man up, be tough, stop crying. You've got to undo the message that says emotions are weakness. They're not their information. They're a pathway to intimacy, not a threat to your masculinity. And when you can offer that level of listening, everything changes. She starts to lean back in. She begins to trust again, not because you won the moment, but because you showed up for it. Let me tell you something deep. When a woman says, "I don't feel heard," what she's really saying is, "I don't feel safe." And if you want love that lasts, if you want passion that doesn't fade after the honeymoon phase, if you want to be the kind of man who draws her in, not pushes her away, learn to listen with your heart, not just your ears, not just your logic, not just your pride, your heart, because that's where real connection lives. And when she feels that, she doesn't have to protect herself anymore. She opens, she softens, she trusts. And you become more than just her man. You become her home. Let's talk about something that doesn't get talked about enough. Men are lonely. I'm not talking about being alone. I'm talking about being emotionally isolated. You could have boys around you. You could hit the gym with them, share memes, take shots, talk sports, and still feel like no one really sees you. And that's not your fault. It's how most of us were raised. From a young age we were taught that being a man meant being stoic. It meant suppressing. It meant don't cry, don't share too much, don't get soft. So what happens? You grow up and now you've got boys, but you don't got brothers. You've got group chats, but you don't got confession spaces. You've got teammates, but no one who knows what's really going on behind that tired smile. And here's the truth, men are drowning in silence. Not because we're weak, but because the world never gave us permission to speak. But I'm here to tell you, we don't have to wait for permission anymore. We can change this right here, right now, and it starts with something so simple but so rare, listening. Real listening, not the "yeah, bro, that sucks" kind of listening. I'm talking about sitting with your brother in his pain. Without judgment, without advice, without trying to fix it, just being present, just saying, "Man, that sounds heavy, I've been there," or "You don't have to carry that alone," or even just, "I got you." That matters more than you know, because here's the crazy part. Some of the strongest, most high-performing, most disciplined men you know are walking around with secrets, shame, guilt, unprocessed trauma, and all it would take to start healing that is someone who's willing to sit in the fire with them and say, "Tell me what's real, I'm not going anywhere. See, we've mastered competition, but we've forgotten connection. We know how to roast each other, but not how to hold each other. We know how to say, 'I got your back' in a fight, but do we know how to say, 'I see your heart, and it's safe with me'?" Because that kind of brotherhood, it changes everything. When a man feels heard, not just for his wins, but for his wounds, he starts to breathe again. He doesn't have to perform anymore. He doesn't have to carry the weight alone. He gets to be human again. And listen, if you've never had that, if all you've ever known is surface level stuff, then be the one who goes first. Be the one who asks deeper questions. Be the one who leans in when the energy shifts. Be the one who says, "You good," and means it not as a formality but as a doorway. Because when one man listens like that, it gives the other man permission to show up fully. And the more we build spaces like that, real, raw, no judgment brotherhood, the more we take back what it really means to be a man. Strong, yes, capable, yes, but also emotionally intelligent, spiritually grounded, relationally available. That's the kind of man this world is desperate for, and it starts with you, with me, with us. So ask yourself, when's the last time you really listened to one of your brothers? Not to one-up him, not to out-advise him, but to say, "You're not invisible, and you don't have to go through this alone." Because at the end of the day, men don't just need respect. They need resonance. They need spaces where their souls can be still, where their pain can be seen, where their story can be shared, not judged, not minimized, not mocked. That's how we rise, not by being louder, but by listening deeper. Let me ask you something, and I want you to be real with yourself. When was the last time you really heard your own voice? I don't mean your opinions. I don't mean your hustle, your game plan, your goals, your grind. I mean your soul, the part of you that whispers, slow down, that asks, is this really who I am? That cries out, I'm tired of pretending. Most men today are so out of touch with their inner voice. They've started living like machines. Wake up. Work, win, perform, achieve, post, impress, sleep, repeat. We got so good at doing, we forgot how to be. And if I'm being honest with you, for a long time, I was one of those men. I had the image, the schedule, the respect, but there was a voice inside me that I kept muting, a voice that said, you're performing more than you're living. You're saying yes to everything except your own peace. You're becoming what people want, but not who you really are. And I know I'm not alone, because if you've been out here chasing validation, if you've been working harder and feeling emptier, if you've got people around you but still feel unknown, it's probably because you stopped listening to you. See, your soul always speaks. It's that feeling in your stomach when something's off. It's that tightness in your chest when you're hiding something. It's that deep down restlessness that says there's more to life than this. But when you've been numbing for years with distraction, entertainment, dating, grinding, whatever, eventually the voice gets quiet. Not because it's gone, but because it's been drowned out. And brother, you can't live fully if you're not even tuned into your own frequency. You can't love deeply. You can't lead clearly. You can't be free if you're not even honest with yourself about what's really going on inside. That's why listening isn't just about others. It's not just about relationships. It's about you. Listening to yourself is how you come home. It's how you recognize when you're exhausted from performing. It's how you admit when you're carrying wounds you never told anybody about. It's how you reclaim your identity when the world keeps trying to tell you who to be. And I get it, it's scary. Because sometimes we're afraid of what that inner voice will say. We're afraid it'll expose our weakness, our regret, our fear that we're not enough. But here's the truth you need to hear right now, that voice inside you. It's not your enemy, it's your healing, it's your compass. It's the most authentic, God-given part of who you are. And you don't need to run from it, you need to return to it. So here's my challenge for you. Start making space to hear yourself again. Cut the noise, turn off the scroll, put the phone down, take the AirPods out, stop avoiding the silence. Because in that silence, that's where the real answers live, not in the next podcast, not in the next motivational clip, not in the next woman or the next win, in you. Your purpose is in there, your clarity is in there, your peace is in there. But you've got to be willing to listen, let go of the mask, let go of the performance, let go of the need to always have it together. And just ask, what's really going on inside me right now? Ask it. And then listen, no judgment, no filters. No shame, just truth. Because once you hear that voice again, once you reconnect with that truth inside of you, everything starts to change. You stop chasing and start aligning. You stop faking and start living. You stop drowning and start breathing. Because the most powerful man in the room isn't the one who speaks the loudest. It's the one who knows how to listen to others, to life, and most of all, to himself. So here we are. Full circle. We started with a simple idea that we've forgotten how to listen. But now you know it's not just about hearing people. It's about becoming the kind of man who is present with others, with himself, with life. This isn't just a relationship tip. This is a lifestyle shift. Because let me tell you something that most people won't. Listening isn't passive. It's power, it's courage, it's leadership. In a world that's shouting, scrolling, selling, posturing, the man who listens stands out. The man who slows down commands more respect than the one who's always trying to prove. The man who sees others becomes unforgettable. Listening is love in motion. It's awareness in action. It's how you build real trust, not just attraction. not just influence, but deep, lasting connection. With your woman, with your brothers, with your purpose, with yourself, and I know some of you are wondering, okay, but how do I actually leave this out? You start small. You start now. You make listening a practice, not a performance. That means when someone talks, you breathe. You stop formulating your response. You tune into their energy, not just their words. That means you carve out space to hear your own voice every day. Not your to-do list, not your self-criticism, but that still, small whisper that says, "This is who I really am." That means when you walk into a room, you don't lead with ego, you lead with awareness, you lead with empathy. You lead with the kind of strength that doesn't need to dominate because it's rooted in something deeper. That's the kind of man the world is starving for, not the loudest, not the flashiest, not the toughest. The most anchored, the most attuned, the most awake, and listen, this isn't about being perfect. You're going to miss it sometimes. You'll zone out, you'll react, you'll fall back into old patterns, but the difference now, you'll notice. You'll come back to yourself, you'll keep practicing, because listening isn't a one-time skill, it's a daily decision. It's a way of walking through the world with humility, intention, and love. It's the quiet strength that says, I don't need to take up all the space, I create space. I don't need to be the hero, I'll be the human. I don't need to talk over you, I'll sit beside you. That's where healing happens. That's where relationships grow. That's where purpose is revealed. And brother, if no one's told you this before, let me be the first. You are capable of this. You are worthy of this, and the world needs this from you. So don't let the noise win. Don't let your past silence you. Don't let culture convince you that listening is soft. It's not. It's sacred, because when a man learns how to listen, really listen, he doesn't just change his relationships. He changes lives, he changes his legacy, he changes himself. So take this gift, carry it with you, practice it with intention, and become the man who doesn't just talk about love, connection, or growth. Become the man who embodies it, one moment of listening at a time. If this spoke to you, if something in your heart stirred, if you felt seen in a way you didn't expect, that's not just emotion. That's truth knocking. That's the part of you that's tired of pretending, tired of being numb, tired of being everything for everyone except yourself. Brother, you are not broken. You are not behind. You are becoming. And if you're feeling that, don't walk away from it. Don't scroll past this like it's just another video. Sit in it, breathe with it, act on it. Drop a comment, even just one sentence, about what landed with you. Because your words might be exactly what another man needs to hear. Hit like if this hit your soul. Share this with a brother who's struggling, and if you're ready to go deeper, if you're ready to build this kind of strength, this kind of presence, this kind of life, then subscribe. Because this space, this isn't for hype, this is for healing, this is for men who are ready to rise differently. You're not alone anymore. We're building something real here, one voice, one heart, one listening man at a time. Let's walk this together. I'm with you, always.